In today's video, I'll show you how to make a mosaic from an unlikely item in your kitchen pantry. Bottles that were once destined for the recycling bin will be given new life. Your favorite coffee drink just got a whole lot sweeter. Create a vase that's covered in gorgeous mosaic TESSERAE to match your home decor. Let's get to it. Welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Julie, and on this channel we talk about tips, tricks, tools, adhesives, materials, and specific mosaic projects, all to shorten your learning curve when it comes to creating mosaic art. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please consider subscribing. Early on, when I first started in mosaic, I started looking at things like plates, bowls, and mugs in a different way. I had become obsessed with Picassiette mosaic, and therefore plates, bowls, and mugs were no longer things I considered for the kitchen. They were now things that I could break to create art. But as an artist, whether you make mosaic or some other art form, you may experience this situation from time to time, whether it is discovering something new to use as a material or a substrate. Recently, as I was shopping to restock our hurricane supplies for the start of the new season, I looked at these coffee drinks in a new way. And I thought, this bottle is the perfect size for a bud vase. It's not too big or too little, and the small neck would support all sizes of flower stems, whether I wanted to include one or a few. And then I said, why hadn't I thought of this sooner? You can cover vases in all sorts of materials, from stained glass, porcelain, millefiori, vitreous glass, smalty, glass rods, glass tile, ceramic tile, and found objects. The sky's the limit. So in today's video, we'll go over how I prepped the substrate, selected and cut the TESSERAE, what are some of the acceptable adhesives you could use, and of course, the grouting. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started. Before we start talking about the tiling, let's talk a minute about the substrate. As I mentioned a few moments ago, this substrate is a glass drink bottle. Nothing like a mosaic substrate that comes with a sweet treat. This is the Starbucks Frappuccino 9.5 ounce bottle, and I'll list everything down below so you can get a closer look, plus I'll include a few other options in case you'd rather mosaic a vase substrate instead of a bottle. So once you've finished your delicious Frappuccino, wash it out and dry it thoroughly. Then use a straight edge razor to pull up a corner of the stickers on the front and back of the bottle. This is especially important if you'll be using clear or transparent glass in your mosaic. The bottleneck on this particular substrate is a little challenging to tile. There's a ring that goes around the neck. You can grind or sand this down if it bothers you by using an electric grinder or a sanding stone. I left the ring alone and tiled around it, but I do understand it can be a pain in the butt. I recently did a video here on the channel all about how to use a sanding stone in your mosaic work, and I'll include a link down below in the description so you can check it out. Once you get the stickers off and grind down the glass ring, if you don't want it there, make sure the surface of the substrate is clean. I'll include a list down below in the description of all the substrates, materials, tools, adhesives, and grout that I'm using in today's video in case you'd like to make a mosaic vase of your own. Now that we've gone over the substrate, we need to talk about the acceptable adhesives. Because this vase will come in contact with water, we need to make sure that we use an adhesive that can stand the test of time. So we won't want to use an adhesive that's water soluble. So in thinking about the adhesives, you'll also want to consider your TESSERAE. For instance, if you're doing a glass on glass and your glass is clear or transparent, you're probably not going to want to use a dark adhesive. You'll want to use something that's clear if you want the light to show through, or something like a white adhesive that will allow or enhance the glass color that you're using. For a glass substrate, you can use adhesives such as Fortified Thin Set, which comes in gray or white. You can tint or color the thin set. I've done a video here on the channel all about it, and I'll include a link down below. Or you could use white epoxy sculpt, which I've also done a video, and I'll include that link down below. Or you could use a clear silicone such as Lexel. All of these are waterproof and will provide great adhesion for your TESSERAE. I'm creating a glass on glass vase, so my choice for adhesive is Lexel. Before I even got started going through my materials to pull things together for this vase, I already had a color scheme and TESSERAE type in mind. I wanted to work with 3/4 inch vitreous glass tile in blues and greens. But keep in mind you can use stained glass, glass tile, smalty, whatever you like. And just because I'm creating a glass on glass vase doesn't mean you have to. You can even use ceramic or porcelain to create a pique assiette mosaic if that's what you like. So I got to work going through my container of blues and greens to pull 5 different colors and shades. One of the shades of green tile has copper veining plus some veining of the same blue that I pulled for the neck of the vase, so I think it'll all come together nicely. I got started by cutting each piece of vitreous glass in half using my wheeled glass nippers. Then I cut a piece of wax paper and taped it to my work table. This is where I'll squeeze out my adhesive from time to time instead of muddying up the applicator tip on the Lexel tube. I find it's easier to work with silicone this way. So I got started by smoothing on some of the adhesive to the top or neck of the bottle using a wood craft stick. And I let it sit there for a few minutes while I cut my TESSERAE into smaller pieces. When the silicone was slightly tacky to the touch, I started tiling the vitreous glass onto the neck of the bottle. If necessary, you can slightly shimmy the TESSERAE to create a little friction so it'll stay in place better. Every so often while I'm working, I'll take a moment to check around the bottle to make sure nothing has been knocked or slipped out of place. You'll notice that when working with silicone on a glass substrate that sometimes things can slide down. Just go ahead and shimmy the piece in place and it should stay. I'm alternating between rectangles and squares, dispersing the colors in a gradient design down the bottle. The silicone can get stringy at times, especially as the air hits it more and more, but just keep with it. I know it'll get annoying, but just hang in there. Here's a quick tip. If you've got silicone all over your hands and it's starting to feel really sticky, just put a little bit of olive oil on a paper towel and wipe your hands and fingernails back and forth with it. Then wash your hands a few times and you're good to go. You can start tiling again. And I'll continue to alternate between rectangles and squares until I get all the way down to the bottom of the bottle. My vitreous glass will come close to the bottom of the sides of the bottle, but it won't touch the table. And I won't be tiling the bottom of the bottle. And now that I'm done tiling, I'll let it sit and fully cure before I proceed to the grouting. The vase has been sitting here drying for 72 hours and now it's ready to be grouted. I'll check it over one last time to make sure everything looks good, and then I'll mix up my grout. Now, because this vase will come in contact with water from time to time, I'm going to use a fortified grout. Fortified grout has polymers added in which allow for flexibility, and they wear better in general, especially in wet conditions. If your grout isn't fortified, you can easily mix it with a latex additive instead of water, which will give it the same benefits of using a fortified grout. And I'll list everything below so you don't have to worry about writing all of this down right now. So now that I've mixed up my grout, I'll get started with the grouting process. I'll smooth on the grout going in a clockwise, counterclockwise motion, pushing it into all of the areas between the vitreous glass, also known as the grout line. Because all of the tiled surface level is pretty much at the same height, this process goes rather quickly. And once I'm done grouting the body of the bottle, I'll smooth on some grout on the area where the vitreous tile on the neck meets the bottle opening. And then I'll do the same thing where the vitreous tile meets the bottom of the bottle. And now I'll let the bottle sit and dry for 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll come back and clean it off. Okay, the bottle has been sitting here drying and is ready to be cleaned off. I'll remove the grout in the same way I put it on by going in a clockwise, counterclockwise motion. I'll clean off the body of the bottle first, making sure each piece of TESSERAE is exposed and free from any grout. I'll also go over the top and bottom of the bottle to make sure the grout is smooth and there are no divots or gouges in the grout. You can always use something pointed but soft, like a pointed tip toothpick, to uncover any TESSERAE that sunk below the surface while curing. I'll do one more once over with an old paintbrush to remove any grout dust. Now, because this vase will come in contact with water throughout its lifetime, I would suggest sealing the grout. It's a simple process that's easy enough to do. It just is a little time consuming. And yes, you guessed it, I've done a video here all about how to seal your mosaic work, and I will include a link to that video down below in the description as well. And there you have it, a sweet, upcycled mosaic vase that fits perfectly into your home or office decor and works for one or many flowers. I'll include a list down below in the description of all of the substrates, materials, tools, adhesives, and grout that I used in today's video in case you'd like to create a mosaic vase of your own. Question of the day, let me know down in the comments if you've ever made a mosaic vase, and if so, what materials did you use? I would love to hear. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up as it really does help my channel, and subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell notification so you never miss a single upload, and let me know in the comments if there's something you'd like me to cover in a future video. I'll see you soon. Bye. I have got a piece of hair. Boy, I tell you, trying to film a video while there's a tropical storm going through is creating some stop and go moments here. Wow, it was so loud in here I had to stop recording because of the rain. Yikes. Okay, okay, okay. Bam, what? Okay. All right. Well, the rain hasn't stopped, but it's not pounding on the roof, so there you go. There you go. If you're looking for more mosaic inspiration, you can check out one of these two videos. Until then, see ya. Bye!